I'm Urban Tarzan, professional animal wrangler. I'm here for my interview for Bully Girl magazine, Eye Candy for the bully enthusiast. Check it out.
This is Dre Dominique, and we're here with Bully Girl magazine and John Brennan, aka the Urban Tarzan. How are you, sir?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm doing well. So you are a professional animal wrangler and expert. Tell us about that, and tell us about how you became Urban Tarzan.
Well, I've been interested in animals ever since I was a little kid, born and raised in the Bronx, New York, about 2 miles from the Bronx Zoo. And as I got older, I got into animals. I moved out at a very young age, 17 years old, was on my own. And I started collecting some animals, and I've always been into pit bulls because I just felt they always got a bad rap. But then I started using animals for TV shows and movies and stuff like that. And then I got into more exotics, you know, from venomous animals to tigers to you name it. I worked with elephants and everything for TV shows, movies, all kinds of media, photo shoots, magazines, stuff like that.
Okay, so I heard that you were once bitten by a king cobra.
Yeah, I was bitten October 10th, 2010. I got bit by a cobra. Somebody had an illegal snake in New York, and they don't want to call the law, they don't want to call the cops, so they call Urban Tarzan. So I have all the connections to find the proper facility for it, and I've been doing this for about 20 years, and during that confiscation, I got bit by the cobra. And it was a 50-50 chance of living or dying at that point.
Right, you were in a coma.
Yep.
Wow.
It's only for like 23 hours, so it was a quick coma.
Only? Like, that's short time or something.
It was a fast one.
You were in a coma
Oh, yeah.
at the end of the day.
It's not a respirator. The funny thing about, the scary thing about that, if I didn't make them at the hospital in Long Island put me on a respirator, I wouldn't be here because they thought I was going to be all right. They just wanted to put me in a helicopter, but I made them put me on. I asked to be intubated, and the doctor thought that was nuts.
Weren't they stalling you a little bit when you got there too?
Yeah, they kind of didn't believe.
They found out who you were.
Until they found out that, oh man, this guy's the real deal, and then next thing you know, it was like, look at his website. But yo, I'm dying here.
Right.
You know, no website. Look at the respirator.
Check me out first. Right. Okay, so you've been on everything from Discovery Channel to Sex and the City. So tell me about your favorite TV experience. My favorite TV experience is probably doing the Conan O'Brien show with the late great Steve Irwin. You know, the crazy Australian, everybody calls him. I worked with him several times and got to be a friend of his. And the last time I worked with him was on Thanksgiving. I think it was 2004, maybe 2006. And I had one of my giant 24-foot, 250-pound snakes on Conan O'Brien with him. Wow. It was just a really cool experience. Okay, so I hear you have a lot of beautiful dogs. We met some outside. Tell us about your pups. Yeah, I have 3 dogs right now, but I've had dogs my whole life. Always pit bulls. I've been into pit bulls my whole life. Misunderstood dog. One of the best dogs. Family, the greatest family dog that's ever been bred, I feel. And but they're all rescues. You know, I've actually lived in the woods at one time with 4 Presser Canarios and a pit bull because I couldn't find a place. I had 2 Pressers, and she was pregnant when I rescued them, and I couldn't find no one that would rent me a house that would let me have all these dogs. So I went into my uncle's property upstate and lived in a tent for about a year and a half. Sacrifices you make for your animals. And the puppies were born in that tent, which was nuts, but people think I'm crazy. Hey, everyone has their passion. Okay, so yeah, tell us where your dogs have been featured at besides in Kettle Dogs. Oh, they've been in a lot of different movies, a lot of videos, you know, Rakim videos, like I said, J-Lo video, DMX. I worked with DMX before. Shine video I did. So many different magazines. They were in Oprah magazine. Hercules was in that. Soldier was in that other magazine. Not Esquire, but shit. I forgot the name of it. I'm fucking out. Look it up on the site. Yeah, it's on there. Vibe magazine. Eve was on the cover, and Soldier and Shine were in it. Nice. And I'm really excited about this magazine. Yeah, tell us what you think about Bully Girl. Bully Girl magazine. I mean, it has. This is a great copy. I mean, it has beautiful dogs, beautiful women. It's got an edge. It's got the New York feel, and that's what we're all about here. Is New York. I mean, you know, that's where it's all started. And this magazine is just awesome. I mean, it's sexy. It's edgy, and it's got just sick pictures in it and some great info. It's just awesome, and it really shows pit bulls the way they should be seen. You know, up on a pedestal. You know? So before we go, besides pets, what kind of other exotic pets do you have? I heard you have a few kind of. Oh yeah, well I mean I don't even. First of all, I don't even consider. I consider my animals an extension of me. I don't really look at animals as pets anymore. Okay. I just don't. Even my dogs, it's just very weird. Yeah, kind of like that. Okay. But I mean,
we got a raccoon that was raised with Jambi. I mean, like him and.
That's pretty random.
It's great, and what's great about Tibet, we couldn't have them together here, but he's in PA, the raccoon. But if we had, it just goes to show another animal that's misunderstood is raccoon. People think they're just garbage eaters, but I mean, they're so intelligent. They're like dog intelligence, but with like no, dog emotions with like a primate intelligence. They're like very very smart, and him and Jambi happen to be like they're brothers. When one's in one crate, the other one tries to get the other one out, and they love each other.
Didn't you almost lose some fingers though?
Oh, that was to a beaver.
Oh,
that was catching a beaver.
Okay.
That was
your beaver story too.
Oh, beaver! I was rescuing a beaver off a highway in Pennsylvania, and this was actually the most scariest animal incident I had. And I swam with an 18-foot shark. I've done so much stuff like that. Been bitten by all kinds of venomous snakes, attacked by dogs. But this beaver had me, scared. Because it was this huge animal, and they could lop your fingers off in 1 second. Their teeth, especially on an adult. I mean, they cut trees down. For Christ's sake. So.
For a living.
Yeah,
for
exactly. Literally, they do for a living. And I had to physically grab this 40-pound beaver. It's such a powerful animal. Even a wild bear will think twice before it screws with an adult beaver. So.
Wow. That's
and I should have thought twice, but I got him off the highway and got all my fingers still.
So that's good. Well, thank you very much for meeting with us. We appreciate you. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure being here.
And
Look forward to the next issue.
Bully Girl Magazine.
New York. I'm Urban Tarzan, professional animal wrangler, and I rescue animals in need. This happened to be an animal that was in need from rhinos to roaches. I handled them all in the world of TV and movies, but this happened to be an illegal snake that was kept in the Bronx that's now finding a new home in a qualified facility. But it's not a happy snake. It's where the hair comes in. Not so handy. Oh, it's shedding too. This little snake is probably only between 10 and 12 feet long. About 65 pounds maybe a little heavier, but has enough constricting pounds of pressure, about 7,000 pounds worth per square inch. That's like a motorcycle or a small car on your chest. In a shed. I have about 100 recurved teeth. They would really stink. It's not venomous, but nonetheless, you still don't want to get bit. She's ready to bite at any second.
Now, what would it take to make her happy food-wise? How much does she eat? How many times a day? And what's
judging
her favorite?
From her size and her age, they didn't power feed her, which is good. But what she would do, I would think a proper feeding schedule for a snake like this would be, because you got to remember, in the wild, they probably only eat 2 or 3 times a year.
Really?
Yeah, maybe more if they're lucky. But in captivity, a snake this size should be fed maybe once, twice a month. About like a 3 or 4 pound rabbit or 2 pound chickens.
So that food goes a long way with them.
Absolutely. Because in a while, I've had snakes that I have gotten that were out of the wild that haven't eaten for over a year, and we're totally fine. They don't lose any weight.
But they also don't grow, I'm assuming. Right?
Correct, right. The more you would feed this animal, the bigger it would get, and they're very prone to getting obese, big constrictors.
So where are they indigenous to? Where
This
did
particular
she
snake
come
comes from South America, all throughout the Amazon basin.
So they're a jungle animal, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much, but they also, you know, they're in the floodlands, in the Pantanal and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So how would somebody get one of these into, I mean, I guess they would have to bring it back on vacation or something with them,
Well,
right?
no, actually, unfortunately, you know, on this day and age, like, you can get anything over the internet, so you can just get it over the internet, or you can go to another state where they are legal and get it as a baby and just come across the lines with it.
Okay, so they just happen to be illegal in New York, but there's other states
Oh,
in
yeah,
the US
absolutely,
that allow them. Now, is there a limit with their size? Once they get too big, do they have to be turned over to a zoo? Or?
No, but that's just usually what happens. That's what, like, unfortunately what happens in Florida a lot, where people let them go, and that's why the Everglades are overrun with constrictors, as well as with that hurricane that let a bunch of out of facility.
Well, like you said, they can breed fairly often,
Yeah,
right?
very prolific, especially in the right conditions. Here in New York, no way. I mean, the snake would be dead in a matter of days outside in the cold weather. So
Right.
today's you know, we've been having exceptionally warm weather, so we're lucky.
So what's the general temperature that they're comfortable in?
Anywhere from like 80 to like 96.
Okay, so this is very cold for her.
Yeah, right now, which is good, which is actually because she's cold, is why she's being so calm. Yeah.
Right. Well, she's very pretty. She's got nice colors on her. The underneath of her looks like a yellow with a green and a little bit of brown.
Mm-hmm.
And the top looks like some leather.
Yeah, well, when she sheds all the skin out, she'll look just like the bottom. She'll be real pretty.
Yeah, it's a very pretty color. Now they come in a lot of different colors, or this?
No, this is pretty much, this is pretty standard for the anaconda. She's getting ready to strike. As tight as she is, as cool as she is.
And the females and males different colors, or just you see?
Nah, the
different
same color.
tails?
Female's much bigger. Females get much larger. But this would be an adult size of a male. A female, this species could get like 2 or 3 times the size.
Do you think she could, or you think at her age?
At her age, I mean, you know, if she gets power fed a lot, but she just will tend to gain a lot of weight. I don't think she's gonna get too much longer.
So where's her next stop after here?
Pennsylvania.
To a zoo, a wildlife foundation?
Nah, to a sanctuary where they're capable of handling these animals. There's a couple that I deal with. Some in upstate New York, some in Pennsylvania.
And are they on view to the public there, or it's just a
not
private
at this particular
facility?
one. They're not. But there's so many people don't realize there's so many. We have so many of these in throughout this inner cities, which is where someone like me, you know, it's like a specialty because there's so many. Like at one point when they first put the python ban in New York City, I rescued probably 19 adult reticulated pythons. Those are snakes like 3 times the sizes. I have one that eats goats, you know.
Wow.
And I took them all out of Greenwich Village. You know, it's just amazing what you would, you know. I mean, they had tigers in the projects.
I
for
mean,
Christ's sake, so.
what do people realistically do with them as a pet? It's just
Nothing. It's
for
more like
show,
it's
or-
a show. It's a machismo thing usually. Usually it's a macho man thing. Usually, you know,
Right.
it's like, oh, I'm cool. I got a big snake.
Right.
Old men think
And
that,
I'm
right?
sure- yeah. And I'm sure these snakes just outgrow the little spaces that these
Absolutely.
people bring them into, and that's
yeah,
the
or
biggest
they get
problem.
this snake is extremely aggressive. This particular one, and she
Oh, she seems like a sweetheart.
yeah, she's being cool now, but Miss Anna.
Anna.
Everybody has an anaconda. If anybody that has an anaconda, they all name them Anna, even if it's a male. I'm gonna name this one J-Lo.
J-Lo? Okay. All right, well, I hope J-Lo gets to her new home safely and she has a much better life than she was, I'm sure, living in a small glass tank.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, she will. She will.
Well, thank you for bringing her by and sharing her with us. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay.
I've always been drawn to animals like that, but the urban Tarzan came about because I actually live in a barn in upstate New York,
You live in a barn.
and I climb up a rope into a
Okay.
hammock because I rescue a lot of giant pythons and
Mhm.
a lot of dangerous animals. So I pull the rope up, and I was getting interviewed by a big magazine, which was National Geographic at one time,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Yo, you're like Tarzan in the city," because I go in the city all the time with shoots with different animals.
Mhm.
And I said, "No, I'm from the Bronx. I'm urban Tarzan." And then
That's where your name came from.
it stuck. Steve Irwin called me Urban Tarzan. Everybody called me Urban, and it's my legal name.